Welcome to today's lecture. In our last lecture, we talked about the chemistry of monosaccharides. So today we'll be looking at the stereochemistry of monosaccharide. Now, when we talk about the stereochemistry, we'll also look at optical activity of monosaccharides. Now, aldoses with the least 3 carbon and ketones with the less 4 carbon contain chiral centers. So what is the chiral center? The chiral center is actually the center that is attached to 4 different functional groups. So let me show you what a chiral center is. So here we have a carbon, we have hydroxy group, here we have maybe bromine, here we have COOH, a carboxylic group, here we have an amino group. So this center becomes a chiral center because it's attached to 4 different functional groups. And drawing these molecules must be based on the system that clearly specifies the configuration. The Fischer projection system is almost universally used for this purpose. Now, for monosaccharides with 2 or more asymmetric carbon, the prefix D or L refers to the configuration of the highest number of asymmetric carbon. Usually, the carbon that is farthest to the carbonyl compound, carbonyl carbon. Now, this is the structure of fructose. Now, this is the carbonyl carbon. The carbon that is farthest to the carbonyl carbon, here says this carbon is the farthest one to this carbonyl carbon, not this one. This one is actually the functional group of that, the last carbon. So the one that is farthest from this is called is actually the carbon that determines if the name would be D or L. Now, if the hydroxy group on this last carbon is located on the right part, it is called a D-fructose. If the hydroxy group is located on the left part, it is called an L-fructose. So, let's go back to our slide. Now, a monosaccharide is actually D if the hydroxy group, like I explained in the previous slide I just showed you now. So here we have the glyceraldehyde. Usually so the monosaccharide is the D if the hydroxy group on the highest numbered asymmetric carbon is drawn to the right in the Fischer projection as in the D-glyceraldehyde. So let's draw the structure of D-glyceraldehyde. Glyceraldehyde is 3 carbon atom. Here carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3. Now this carbon contains the aldehyde group. Here we have OH, H, here we have CH2OH. So this is the carbonyl carbon. So here you can see the hydroxy group is located on the right. So this is D-glyceraldehyde. This D-glyceraldehyde. So here you notice that this carbon atom is actually a carbon-carbon we usually use in determining if it is a D or L form of the monosaccharide. Now I want to see if I can delete this. Okay. So let's proceed. Note that the designation D or L value relates to the configuration of a given molecule to that of glyceraldehyde and does not specify the sign of rotation of the plane of polarized light. A plane polarized light. Now, if you work in this structure, if we were to draw a 4-carbon monosaccharide, we will have a structure like this. Let's say, where is my? You have a 1, 2, 3, 4. So this becomes CH2OH. This becomes our carbonyl carbon. Here we have OH. Here we have OH. Here we have H. Here we have H. So you notice that this is the additional. This carbon here is the additional carbon compared to the glyceraldehyde. So here, what defines the D form of this monosaccharide would be the orientation here, which you have the hydroxy group here. So this becomes a D sugar. It becomes a D sugar or a D monosaccharide. Now, but when we talk about the rotation of a plain polarized light, that's where we add either a plus sign or a minus sign. D-glucose may also be called D plus glucose. Like you see here, it can be called D plus glucose because glucose is actually dextro-rotatory. Dextro means it can rotate to the right, whereas levo-rotatory means it can rotate to the left. So naturally, D-glucose is levo-rotatory and can rotate, and we write it as D in brackets minus, where we have fructose. While for glucose we have D brackets plus glucose. Because naturally glucose rotates to the right. That's why when you go to the maybe a pharmacy, if you want to buy the glucose solution, the agent refer to it as dextrose, which is another name for glucose. Means that glucose can rotate a plain polarized light to the right. Now, when we talk about stereochemistry, we also talk about stereoisomers that are mirror image of each other. So when a compound has a mirror image, it is referred to as an enantiomer. For example, D-fructose and L-fructose are mirror image of each other. So they are called enantiomers. When you talk about mirror image, you notice that when you actually want to shake your hand in the mirror, you're actually bringing your right hand, it will show you, it will give you your left hand. So that's what we refer to as a mirror image. Now, two sugars that differ in the configuration at only one chiral center are called epimers. Now, let me explain what are epimers. For example, we have D-glucose, D-mannose. Now, if you look at the structure between D-glucose and D-mannose, you notice that there is a difference in the configuration at only a particular carbon atom. Now let's look at the structure very well. This is the carbonic carbon. Here you find that the hydroxy group is located on the right, while the hydroxy group is located on the left. So apart from this particular portion, every other hydroxy group, as you can see here, is on the left, right. So you can see that the only difference between glucose and mannose is that the carbon 2. The orientation of the hydroxy group are the carbon 2. So glucose and mannose are epimers. So if you ask, name an epimer of glucose, you can say mannose. Galactose is also an epimer of glucose. You can see that the difference between glucose and mannose is actually at carbon 2. So if you ask in the exam that at what position does glucose differ from mannose, it's at carbon 2. Name an epimer of glucose, you can actually name mannose. Mannose is an epimer of glucose at a particular specific carbon atom, which is carbon 2. While galactose is also the same, almost the same with glucose, but the difference between galactose and glucose is at carbon 4. As you look at the structure here, this is D-galactose. You can see the hydroxy group here, they are the same. Here at carbon 3, they are the same. At carbon 4, you can see that this is located at the left, while this is located at the right. So apart from this, carbon 5 is the same thing. So you can see that the only difference is that carbon 4. Here the only difference is that the only difference is at carbon 2. So galactose is an epimer of glucose at carbon 4, while mannose is an epimer of glucose at carbon 2. So that's what we refer at epimers. But you can see that mannose and galactose are not epimers. They are called diastereomers. Now, for example, D-glucose and D-mannose are epimers, whereas D-glucose and D-talose are not epimers but diastereomers. Now you can see that the mannose and galactose are different at more than one carbon atom. You can see here they are different at carbon 2. They are also different at carbon. Okay, this is carbon 2. You can see here is located on the left. here is located at the right. At carbon 3, it's the same. Carbon 4, different. So they are different from both carbon 2 and carbon 4. So that means mannose and galactose are there as stereomers. So if you ask, name a diastereomer of mannose, you can actually name galactose. If you are asked name a diastereomer of glucose, you can actually name tallose. Now for molecules that possess 2 or more chiral centers, more than 2 stellar isomers can exist. Pairs of isomers that have opposite configuration at 1 or more of the chiral centers but are not mirror image of each other are called diastereomers, which I've actually explained. Now let's look at the cyclic nature of monosaccharides. Here we talk about alcohols react readily with aldehydes to form hemiacetals, which they can also react with ketones to form hemiketals. So usually when they react, they form the 6-member ring actually form a pyrene ring, which is usually referred to as pyranose. While if they form a 5-member ring, they are actually called a furanose. Now in similar case, which I've actually explained, so usually they form this structure when they are in acidic or in basic solution. Okay, let's look at this. Where when the amino acid hemiketals are formed, the carbon atoms carrying the carbonyl function becomes an asymmetric carbon, like what you're seeing here. Here we have this is glucose. When the carbonyl carbon reacts to this carbon, it forms a cyclization, which can result to 2 forms, the beta glucose or the alpha glucose. Here you can see this is an alpha glucose, the hydroxyl group is here. For beta glucose, the hydroxyl group is actually here. For alpha glucose, is actually at this position. So this is alpha D glucose or glucopyranose because of the cyclic structure. This is beta D glucopyranose because of the cyclic structure, and the hydroxyl is located at the up here, upper part of the. So this carbon, this center is called an anomeric center. This center is also called anomeric center or anomeric carbon. So this is another form of stereochemistry where we have the alpha form and the beta form. So now in our next lecture, in our next tutorial, where we're looking at disaccharides, where we have 2 or more glucose or 2 or more monosaccharides linked together to form a disaccharide. Then we'll now look at free anomeric length that determines if the sugar will be a reducing sugar or it's not be a reducing sugar. Thank you. Do not forget to subscribe.